hadn't planned to say this to you, but there was a terrible, terrible story in the news this last week of a mom who has been a very active blogger and been such a great advocate for her child, and reached a point where she didn't think she could go on anymore, and she tried to take her own life and tried to take her daughter's life, and fortunately she wasn't successful in that. But
I didn't know that.
Yeah, in Kalamazoo, Michigan, and it's a very disturbing story, and people have lots of thoughts and emotions about it, and I certainly have had thoughts and emotions about it, and had conversations with people, and said to all of you, ask for and get the help that you need when you need it, and sometimes you're going to ask it of people who aren't prepared to give you the help, and you have to ask other people. And we've said all week long on the show, no one is condoning trying to hurt yourself or hurt your child. Of course, that is not an option, right? But we understand how desperate people can be in desperate times. And I have said, when on the worst day, when the worst things were going wrong for me, and my child had been hitting me in the head, and this mom had been hospitalized multiple times because of what her daughter had done to her in her violence. And her daughter is 13. My son was 5, and he was hitting me in the head, and I had reached a point where I could not take it anymore. I had reached that critical mass and came to clinic here at the Center for Autism and Related Disorders and said to our supervisor, somebody needs to do something because something bad's going to happen. I don't even know what it is, but I need some help, and I need some help today, and we can't leave here until somebody tells me what to do. And they came and got you. and you brought Art Wilkie with you. I'm going to cry, but you guys came, and it made the difference for us. And I don't know that I've ever really thanked you for that.
Well, I'm glad we could be helpful.
Yeah, it was, and I say that to all of you out there because there are people who can be helpful. I mean, you guys spent time, and I wasn't very nice about it on that day. And I talk all the time about how I yelled at Art Wilkie that day when you guys were just trying to help me, but you guys didn't take any offense to it, or you just plowed on. Maybe he did take offense. I don't think Art did. He's not that kind of person. But it made it so that you guys were, worked through it with me and showed me what to do to defend myself without hurting him.
Right.
And then you guys tore it down and started working on over the next couple of weeks, making it so that behavior changed for him. But first, you showed me how to keep myself safe without hurting him, and that was huge. So I thank you for that, and I throw out to other people watching, you got to keep asking until you find the Dr. Jonathan Tarboxes in your life.
Well, and it's people often think, well, I can't get anything done unless I find the best possible doctor, or the best possible this or that. But there's a lot of comfort that you can get out of small, just human elements of life on a daily basis. I mean, I'd like to say to your viewers, there are many of your viewers watching right now who are having those same thoughts that they cannot take it. Right? I mean, that is it sounds harsh, but it's a normal part of parenting a child with special needs. A normal part of that is sometimes having the thought, I can't take this anymore. It's a normal part. And I'm willing to say there might not be any parents of kids with severe special needs who haven't had that thought at some point. I mean, it's part of the experience. And yet we're trained in our society to beat ourselves up over our thoughts, right? Like if I'm having this thought, that must mean X, Y, and Z. It must mean I'm a bad parent. It must mean I can't do it. It must mean I wasn't meant to do this. It must mean that, you name it, right? We have all of these stories that we've learned to tell ourselves that are negative and that are anxiety provoking. And frankly, they're not actually based on any reality. It's just verbal behavior that we've learned to talk to ourselves in that way. And the thing is that's also a normal part, unfortunately, of parenting a special needs kid, is you're going to engage in all of that self-talk that is going to hurt you. You're going to do that. You can't escape it. But what you can do is reach out to someone else and just pick one small thing that makes a difference for you personally. Forget even making a difference for your kid. For 5 minutes, pick one thing that can make you feel better, whether it's watching your favorite TV show, whether it's eating some chocolate ice cream, whether it's going for a bike ride, whether it's telling your husband or your kid's older sibling, your turn, I need a break,
absolutely.
Period. 5-minute break.
We do the tag out.
Right.
Tag out, your turn.
Yeah. And is that going to solve all your problems? No. But can it make your life a little bit better in that moment? Yes. And that's pretty much as good as it gets for humans, right?
Yeah. And that things change over time. If you do enough of the right things, often enough, things change for the better.
That's right.
But I wish for all of you that you have the voice to ask for help when you need it.